Welcome to the Black Mirror Podcast.
Join host Ho-Ho as he discusses the riveting Netflix original series,
Black Mirror. Now, here he is, Ho-Ho-Ho.
Welcome to Black Mirror Podcast, and as always, I am your host, Ho-Ho. How y'all's doing? I hope you're doing good. I really do. So today we are covering episode 1 of season 3 entitled Nosedive. Now, I tell you what, as always, spoiler alert, we are going to be talking about the episode. However, this one is, sorry about that. This one is a clear representation of an ongoing theme with Black Mirror. Because Black Mirror, it talks about and explores how we interact with each other, how we interact with technology, and how we interact with each other through technology. And it's that last one that this one really does emphasize. It really does. Now, imagine, if you would, if everything in our lives, and when I mean everything in our lives, was basically controlled by our social media rating. Now, I know what you're thinking. In a lot of ways, that kind of stuff already is going on. You know, our managers, work before you get hired. They'll, they want to check out and look at your social media. They want to look at your Facebook. They want to look at your Twitter. They want to do these kind of things to see what kind of stuff you post, what your political leanings are, or whatever your leanings are. They want to see and get an idea of what kind of person you are. You're doing a background check. They want to have full access and look at who you're interacting with, what those interactions are. It goes even further than that. So I know in a lot of ways, at least in some ways, a lot of this is already taking place. But however, there's still some aspects of it where they use other metrics to determine whether or not you get accepted into certain things. But in this dystopian world where Nosedive is taking place, everything, even down to your job, your access to different buildings, your access to different country clubs, your access to rentals, whether that be real estate or automotive, everything is based off of this 5-star rating. And when I mean everything, I mean everything. Now, this story starts off talking about a lady. What is her name? What's her name? Lacey? It looks like Lacey. And she has like a 4.2 rating. Okay, that's what she starts off with. Out of 5 stars, a 4.2, you'd think that's actually pretty good. All right. And is what she does is, her lease is about ready to end on the apartment that she is renting with her brother, who I think ranks around in the 3 point whatever, the mid 3, 3-star rating. And, she's looking at apartments. Okay. She's looking at apartments. It's about time to move. She's looking at apartments and she's, she goes there, and this apartment is everything that she wants, everything that she desires. But the problem is it's a little outside of her price range. It's not quite there. However, she hears about a sale that she can get. But unfortunately, it requires you to have a 4.5 or above rating in order to get this deal, in order to get this discount. Amazing, right? Well, the problem is she's only at a 4.2. So is what she does is she basically goes to a it's kind of like going to somebody to help fix your credit. If your credit score is too low, and the things that you can do in order to help boost your credit and raise your credit rating so that this way you can get approved for such a thing. That's what she does, except it's a social rating, not a credit score. But it's utilized the same. And he basically says, it's like, look, I mean, you're looking good, but unfortunately, most of your interactions are around these type of people, and this type of stuff isn't really going to boost your rating. What you need is more influential friends. You need people that are up there in the 4.5 and above in order to boost your own rating. Now, you can do this, but it's going to take you about 18 months. Now, remember, she's only 1 month away from her eviction being, or not eviction, but her lease being up, her lease expiring. So she needs this to happen like now. In walks a friend of hers. I believe her name is Naomi. There we go, right there on the page. And she has like a 4.8 rating. Holy crap. Now she's about ready to get married. Now she's doing some stuff. Lacey, not Naomi, but she's doing some stuff to try to help boost her stuff. She's just being a pleasant person. She's interacting with people. She's talking with people. She's being nice. She's being friendly. She's taking pictures of stuff. She's practicing her facial expressions in the mirror, for crying out loud. I mean, holy crap. And the problem is she is being so fake with everything that she's doing. So fake. It is ridiculous fake with everything that she's doing. But for some reason, people are, the people that are around her same, star rating kind of appreciate that because they understand that this is a numbers game, and so they play the game. But with people that are a little higher up in the rating, they take it for what it is, just trying to boost your numbers, and they don't really respond well. But something else ends up happening in this dichotomy, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But as I was saying, in walks Naomi. Naomi is a friend of hers from elementary school. They go back a ways. Now, granted, they did not have the best of relationships when they were in school. They started off as the closest of friends, but then something happened. One person got the popularity bug for one reason or another. The other person kind of got the piranha bug for one reason or another. I'll let you guess which one got the popularity bug. Sorry, I touched the microphone with my glass there. I did not mean to do that. But I'll let you use your imagination on which one got the popularity bug and which one got the piranha bug. Now, I mean, again, it just goes to show you. Never mind. It doesn't even matter. But in walks Naomi. And Naomi is a 4.8, and she's about ready to get married to another 4.8. So is what she does is she talks to her bestest friend from childhood, her earliest friends, her oldest friend. She talks to Lacey, and she invites Lacey to be her maid of honor. Holy crap. Now, the guest list consists of people that are like in the 5.8 area, 5.7. Above everybody on this guest list is above 4.5. Every single one of them. The sphere of her influence is going to skyrocket. So she goes to her, her rating guide and says, hey, is this going to help me out? Explains what she's doing, what she got invited to, explains and shows him what the guest list is, all the people that are invited, and what their rating is. And he's like, oh yeah, this will do it. This will boost your score to where you need it to be and the time frame you're needing it to be there in order to get into the home that you want. This will get you there. Time comes for her to go. She puts the deposit down on the apartment. She kind of has a little bit of a falling out with her brother on her way out the door. And that's when her world starts to crumble. While she's having this argument with her brother, the first Uber driver, she doesn't make it outside in time for it, and he ends up going. Now, look, here's the thing, okay? This guy is like there and gone in like less than 2 minutes. It's ridiculous how fast. It's like, I'm here, I'm tired of waiting, I'm gone. And he goes. And of course, where every single thing is based off of a rating system, every single interaction, good or bad, you are rated from 1 to 5. And so her dings start there. This first Uber driver shows up. Evidently, she doesn't make it outside quick enough. He gives her a 1-star rating. Boom, there's her first hit. The next Uber driver shows up. Now, I don't know if it's an Uber driver. I have no idea. But you always understand what I'm talking about when I say an Uber driver. Holy crap. She's still arguing. But this one, he waits around for a little bit. While she's in the cab ride going to the airport, she gets a call from the bride. And, you know, it's an interaction. And of course, it's so freaking fake. Holy crap. On both ends, it is so freaking fake. Lacey is trying everything that she can do to make this a positive interaction. She's being overly just, I mean, it is so fake. I mean, holy crap, it is so fake. Now, Naomi isn't much better, but I mean, even still, I mean, Naomi's like, you know, she's a 4.8. What does that mean? That she is really good about being fake and making it be believable. Lacey, however, isn't quite used to that yet. You know, most of her interactions up until this point, I mean, yes, has been kind of fake, but at least it's been something that is within the boundaries of what she's used to, and she can make it believable. Now that she's trying so hard to get that 4.5 rating, her interactions are not as believable. And what happens in this cab ride on her way to the airport is just so over the top. Holy crap. It's like, wow, really? Really? And she gets another ding. She's going up and she talks to her, well, not her, but she's talking to, you know, the ticket lady at the counter and says, "Hey, I'm here for my flight." Oh. Takes a look at her information, takes a look at what her rating is. Oh, man. I apologize, but we've overbooked. Lacey is a little distraught. What do you mean you're overbooked? I reserved these tickets a week ago. There's no way this should be overbooked. I should have a seat right now. Is there a later flight? Oh, let me look. Ah, man. I'm sorry, but there's nothing I can do. Now, this wedding is her opportunity to do a speech, to put everything that she is into this, in hopes to get these 4.5 and above, mostly 4.8s, to like her, to boost her score, to boost her rating, to expand on her sphere of influence, to get her into the house that she wants, the promotion that she may want, everything that she wants. Everything in her life to this point has boiled down to this wedding, to her being the maid of honor, giving a speech that will wow the entire audience. Everything rides on this. Everything. And she is starting to see this crumble right before her eyes. She can't believe it. Now, her scoring didn't drop that far. She went from a 4.2 to, at this point, a 4.1. Or was it a 4.3? A 4.2. It says 4.2. And it went to a 4.1. Apparently, a 4.1 is a little bit too low for you to just get on an airplane. She's starting to get irate. And then, she starts to lose it a little bit. She ends up cussing at the not a flight attendant. What the heck is she? The person who's, taking your information, giving you your ticket. The one who says, it's time to board or flight delayed or whatever. The lady that's standing there at the counter. She starts to go off on her. This lady's like, look, I've had it. I'm calling security. Security comes over and says, ma'am, what you doing? Calm down, shut up. Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to dock you a full point for 24 hours. Now she goes from a 4.1, starting off the day at a 4.2, all the way down. In just 1, 2, 3, now 3 interactions, all the way down to a 3.1. Holy crap, are you kidding me? And then on her way, she gets dinged by the counter person, by the counter lady. She gets dinged by 2 people, if not more, that were standing in line. Because remember, every single interaction you have, or just even being out in public, anybody you pass by, they can take their phone, they can scan you, all of your information pulls up, everything pulls up, and they can rate you. That interaction, that non-interaction, just seeing you in public and how you interact with somebody else, they can grade you on that. She starts off the day at a 4.2. 2 interactions with cabbies take her down to a 4.1. And then because she gets irate, and because this happens at an airport, she gets a full point 24-hour drop on her rating, taking her all the way down to 3.1. Holy cow. Well, the buck doesn't stop there. Instead of flying, she now has to take a 9-hour car ride in order to get to wherever it is she's going. And unfortunately, she doesn't have a car of her own. She has to rent one. So she goes to the renting place to rent a car. And because of her credit rating, by now has dropped to 2.8. She's stuck in, quite honestly, a humpty. It's a POS. This thing is bad. And of course, this isn't just a gas-powered vehicle. Oh no, this is the future. It's an EV. It's an electronic vehicle. So she's on the road. She's in the thing. Now this is funny. This is hilarious. This vehicle is speaking in a different language, okay? This is like, this sucker is set on Spanish, okay? It's set on Spanish. It's so funny. It is set on Spanish. She don't know Spanish. She's fumbling her way through the controls to try to get it to do some simple stuff. It's hilarious. She's on the road. She gets another call from Naomi. Hey, are you coming? About that, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get my flight. It was overbooked. I'm being forced to drive. They didn't have anything at all available for the next 2 days. So unfortunately, I'm forced to drive. And Naomi's like, what are you talking about? That's a 9-hour trip. She's like, hey, I'm making good time. I will be there. So you're not going to be here for the rehearsal? No, I'm not going to be there for rehearsal. Unfortunately, I won't be. I do greatly apologize. However, I will be there for the wedding. It is going to be great. I've written the speech. You've approved the speech. We've made our adjustments that we wanted to. This is going to be amazing. Again, this is nothing more than a numbers game. That's all it is. Do you need me to get somebody else? I can totally do that if you're not going to be able to make it. No, please don't do that. I will be there. And she's at a charging station because obviously an EV is not going to last a full 9-hour trip in order to get to where it is she needs to go. So she pulls into a charging station. She has a piece of crap old EV that is so janky that the plug on it won't even go. The plug at the charging station won't even go to the vehicle. It requires an attachment, an accessory that apparently wasn't provided with the car. I don't know as if she necessarily looked. I don't know. You would think that there would be a compartment or something in there that says, hey, these are the attachments. But she says that, no, there wasn't any type of an attachment. And the guy goes, I don't know what to tell you. I don't have such an attachment here. You're just going to have to ask somebody. That's the best I can do for you. Which I think is absolutely ridiculous, because why in the world, what you're going to ask somebody for, hey, I know you're using this plug right now in order to charge your vehicle, but can I, which actually every single person in there had a newer vehicle that didn't require the attachment, but even still, if they didn't need the attachment, why would they have the attachment? But she asks anyway and say, hey, do you happen to have those attachments that I need so I can charge my vehicle and get on down the road, because my life depends on me getting to this wedding. Holy crap. Nobody has anything for her. And even if they did have it, by the way, they would be using it. Yeah, anyway. So she's sitting there and she hears, well, she's sitting there, she's waiting. Some time passes. We don't know exactly how much time passes, but it kind of gives you the hint that it's been a little while. More than an hour. More than an hour. She goes to the restroom because she's got a tinkle. You got to do that from time to time. You got to tinkle. She had a tinkle, so she tinkled. She's in the bathroom and she's listening to people that are going at least close to wherever it is that she's going, if not that same general vicinity. They're going to a Comic-Con type of an event. And she's like, oh, hey, you guys are going here. I'm a fan of whatever it is that you guys are fans of. But unfortunately, my card died and my costume is with my friend, and my friend is there. So I ain't even got my costume with me. This is ridiculous. And she's like, we have extra room on the bus. And she's like, oh, really? So she hops a ride on this bus. And then she gets the call that she has been dreading. The call that she has absolutely been dreading ever since this nosedive first started happening. She gets a call from Naomi. And she says, hey. Oh, wait, no. That has that happened yet? Yeah. That's when this happens. She gets a call from Naomi. And she's like, hey, I'm so close. And Naomi is like, don't worry about it. I got a replacement. Lacey is distraught. Mind you, she started off with a 4.2 when this whole endeavor first started going. Needing to get to at least a 4.5 has already dropped down by this point below a 2 point, actually, I think 2.8, maybe 2.7. I don't know. And holy cow. Holy cow. She's like, no, I'm going to make it. I'm going to be there. I'm going. You're not invited. You're uninvited. You can't come. This is now a train wreck. Before, you being a 4.2, this was a charity case that was going to boost my numbers. Now your numbers are so far down, this is going to be horrible for me. This does not play out. This is not going to boost my score whatsoever. You've dropped too far down. This whole thing is no longer going to benefit me. And she's like, what? This is nothing but a numbers game? And Naomi fires back like, this was a numbers game for you. Don't play that it wasn't. Of course it was. They both got called out on their Bravo Sierra. Oh, but it gets worse. This argument that she has is vocal enough that everybody else on the bus heard it. After hanging up the phone with Naomi, she looks at them people and she's like, I have no idea what it is you're talking about. I'm just trying to go to wherever it is that I'm going. So obviously she gets kicked off the bus and everybody on that bus gives her a negative rating. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Her social rating goes down even more, but oh no, it gets better. She's trying to hitchhike. She can't hitchhike. Why? Because on the approach, everybody can look at her social rating and go, holy cow, you're way the heck down there. I'm not giving you a ride. You're apparently trash. You're not somebody that is worth picking up. This is not going to be a good interaction for us. We ain't picking you up. We ain't risking it. Ain't no way, ain't no how. In passes a truck driver. Now, this lady, I got to be honest with you, I recognize her from something. I really do. The guy that played the truck driver in Nosedive, episode 1 of season 3, I recognize her from something. I don't know where from. I haven't looked up who it was or what her name is, but I recognize her for something. She's been around. She's been around. Oh, crap. What was that? Okay. All right, anyway, she's been around. That's what I'm saying. She's been around. She's like, where are you going? I'm going to here. Okay, cool. Hop in. And Lacey's looking at this gal's credit score, and it's like a 1.4. Okay. And she's like, nah, I'm good. And the truck driver lady, I believe her name is Susan. That's what the thing says on the screen. And she's like, lady, you're not okay. It doesn't really look like you got a whole heck of a lot of choice. I ain't going to bite you. Hop in the freaking car. I'll get you on down the road. Reluctantly, Lacey hops into the car, hops into the semi with this truck driver that has a 1.4 rating. And they start to talking. Lacey asks the question, how is your credit score? Your credit score. How is your social rating so low? And Susan says, the truck driver says, I used to be like you. I used to play the numbers, used to play the game. I used to have this kind of credit rating. Until one day, my husband ended up getting cancer. We found out real quick that this social rating doesn't mean jack diddly squat. Because it came down to 1/10 of a point that my husband got passed up for somebody else. He was a 4.3. They gave it away to somebody that was a 4.4. That didn't mean jack diddly squat. That 1/10 of a point ended up causing him to lose years on his life. She rubbed all the right doctors. You know, she gave them the 5-point rating, trying to do everything that she could to help boost their rating, to help boost their own rating, so that this way they'd get accepted into this program to help save his life. And in the end, it didn't mean anything. It didn't mean jack diddly squat. And whenever her husband died, she realized what really mattered, and she started telling people how she really felt. And in a world that is based off of fake, nobody accepts, appreciates, and responds well to truth and anything that is real. Nobody. And that's when her score started to drop. And so Susan asked Lacey, when you gave that gal at the airport a piece of your mind, how'd it make you feel? And Lacey goes, oh, I felt horrible. She goes, no. Not the ding to your social rating. How did it feel to yell at somebody? How did that feel? Oh, actually, that was kind of good. I kind of like that. Yeah. Makes you feel free, doesn't it? It's kind of nice, isn't it? It's kind of nice. And just one thing after another. One comedy bit after comedy bit. Finally, she gets to the wedding, and she looks an utter wreck. Holy crap. She asks to borrow somebody's four-wheeler. She ends up flying off the thing into a creek and gets covered with mud. And the dress that she had, her bridesmaid dress, the whole 9 yards. She still has this little bitty doll that her and Naomi made whenever they were children. I mean, she looks like a train wreck. Holy crap. She finally shows up, embarrassing herself, does her best to do this speech, goes off, threatens everybody. I mean, holy crap. I mean, this is the nosedive of all nosedives. I mean, man, this thing is amazing. I mean, I don't know what exactly her rating goes down to, but while she is at this, the post wedding stress ceremony, what's that thing called? I don't know. While she's at that ceremony, though, all right, she gets ding after ding after ding because, I mean, she is obviously desperate for this. Her rating is obviously low. And, I mean, common sense would tell you that something happened, okay? That there is no way, because here's the thing, too. Even to get into this event, you needed at least a 3.3. No exceptions. You needed a 3.3 to even get into this event. So the whole fact that she shows up with under a 2.8 is like, dude, she ain't getting in anyway. There's no way she's getting in. She's got this 24-hour ding that took her down to a 2.1 from the get-go, or was it a 4.1, 3.1? Yeah, 3.1 from the get-go, already down to a 2.8. If you need a 3.3 at least, there's no way you're getting in. This is not going to happen. So, I mean, like, anybody that's there knows that something happened. I mean, I'm sure that they all knew that there's a reason why they had to go with somebody else. Now, I highly doubt that Naomi was truthful with what happened. Obviously not. You're not going to be truthful. In a world that appreciates and lives off of being fake and lies and stories, not about truth and reality, not about telling people off and telling people what you really think, of course, she came up with the story. But even still, it doesn't take a lot of deduction to reason what happened. Holy cow. Like I said, this episode is amazing. She ends up going off in an amazing fashion. And the show ends up with her getting arrested She threatens people's lives with a knife. Of course, she got arrested. While she's in jail, one of the things that they do is they take out, not really take out, but they deactivate this eye thing. Because that's one of the aspects of it. You know, you look at somebody, you see their score, you see their rating, you see where they rate every single person. You're in jail. Well, they don't want you to interact like that. They don't want you to have any control over somebody else. You'll just ding somebody just for the sake of dinging somebody. And whenever your life is controlled by this social rating system, then of course they don't want people who are kind of ticked off at the system to have any power over somebody else's rating. So obviously they deactivate it. And they deactivated hers. Oh, but it gets better. Okay, I have no idea how I made that sound drinking out of my straw, but that's the sound that I make. That was awesome. And yes, that's what that sound was. I was drinking out of the straw. Drinking out of, I promise you, if you also watching on the video, then you know you were able to see that's what I was doing. That's all it was. I was drinking out of a straw anyway. Nosedive, back to it. Finishing up on this. It ends with her in a jail cell across from somebody else. Now look, my speculation is because this gentleman is wearing a suit, a tuxedo, he's wearing nice clothes, that there's a good possibility that something at least somewhere in the same general vicinity, in the same ballpark of what happened to Lacey, happened to just this gentleman. That's what my speculation is, because he looks way too sharp to just be an average Joe off the street. He looks way too sharp. He looks way too fine. He looks good. He's not somebody that looks like he belongs in a jail cell. He probably started off somewhere around the neighborhood that Lacey had in the beginning of the show, around a 4.2, if not higher than that, because he looks like he's a sharp dressed man. ZZ Top would definitely be writing a song about him, because he is a sharp dressed man. He is. And she looks at the guy and she holds up her hand to try to, get his info, get his stuff, and nothing's working. And he goes, she just finally goes off and says, "What are you looking at?" I was wondering the same thing. What you looking at? Well, I don't like you wondering. Well, I don't like you wondering what I'm wondering. What you talking about? You don't like that. I don't like you. He's like, I don't like your brassiere. And she goes, I don't like your head. I don't like this. I don't like that. They just start going off on each other, just giving insult after insult after insult. Now, in the beginning, it might have started off as something nefarious. It might have started off as something, just a reaction to the situation, a little bit of blowing off steam, but they were both doing the same thing. And each and every time another insult was thrown out, it was received for what it was. It wasn't an insult. It was blowing off steam. And it was a freedom that was associated with it that both of them responded to, because both of them were in the same boat. Both of them no longer had to fear getting a negative rating and could be able to speak however they wanted to somebody. Both of them felt exhilarated because of that. Both of them. So they're standing opposite, hollering back insults back and forth with the freedom of knowing that, one, I can't harm you with a negative social rating, and you can't harm me with a negative social rating. And this freedom to interact, tell them how they really felt, regardless of whether they actually felt that way about each other, it doesn't matter. They're still throwing the insults. Sometimes that is therapy in and among itself. And for these two people, it really was. And it ended in such a beautiful way. It really did. Now, I know this episode has gone kind of long. It really did, because I tell you what, this episode, just like last time, I absolutely loved it. And in a matter of speaking, it was also a little terrifying. Because we're already seeing in our own society the beginnings of such a dystopian world portrayed in Nosedive. We really are seeing that. We live so much of our lives on our phone through social media, whatever the platform is. I mean, I know some of the youngsters are getting away from Facebook. You know, there's a lot of different ones out there. But even still, you know, I mean, it's all the same. I mean, how many of us judge other people based off of their online presence? You know, people whom you don't even know. You know, that you are fans of, people of whose videos you watch, whether it be TikTok, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Facebook. We watch this stuff. You know, we base our entire opinion of somebody based off of their social media presence, based off of their online presence in general. How people rate them means something to us. Whether we want to completely admit it or not, it does. And it plays a part how we view them, how we think about them, how we consume their content, what have you. Our own social media presence, online presence in general, is used to determine what kind of person you are, what kind of employee you may be. These type of things, to me, in a matter of speaking, scares me. For the same reason of the negative consequence of everyday interaction with people in Nosedive, in this episode itself. Because every interaction, when your entire life, your entire livelihood, everything that you can and will do is you're judged by this social media rating. Every interaction is fake. Nothing is real. Nothing is genuine anymore. You know, and the funny thing is, and isn't this kind of how it is in life anyway? Okay. There was only three people, or at least three types of people in this entire episode that were free to interact how they wanted to, judge people based off of how they wanted to, that wasn't fake and expected, and graded accordingly based off of a genuine interaction with somebody, a meaningful interaction, as one person put it. But it was the person who had the average rating, because they weren't living life by the numbers. They wanted a meaningful interaction, something that didn't quite feel fake. You had the person like Susan that had a 1.4 rating. Somebody that was so far down. They did not live their life based off of the restraints and the restrictions of that rating system. They were able to speak their mind, speak the truth. With a 1.4, who cares? You're not going up. You can't hurt them any more than really they can hurt you. Because that's the thing, though, too. The lower your rating let me phrase this grammatically correct. The lower your rating is, the less of an impact there is on their rating you. So if they're, so like if you're getting a negative rating from a 1.4, it's going to have less of an impact on your rating than if you get a low rating from somebody who is, let's say a 4.5. A negative rating from a higher rated person means more, carries more weight than a negative rating for somebody that is really low, like Susan was, the truck driver, the 1.4. And then you had the people, the Lacey and whoever the other guy was, whenever they were in jail, where they no longer even had access to this system. Those were the three types of people that were completely free. Wow. Wow. I mean, this really was an awesome episode. It really was. In a matter of speaking, it was terrifying. But boy, howdy, was it fun. It was fun to watch. I mean, this sucker was a complete nosedive. I mean, holy cow. When this thing first started off, just done. She went from hero to zero in nothing flat. It truly was epic and amazing just how fast this nosedive happened. It really was. If you haven't rewatched this episode, take a moment, take a minute, rewatch it. It is worth the watch. It really is. And think about social media today, how we are, how it is. Think about it. How far away do you actually think we are from something like this? You know, and I mean, granted, it wouldn't be able, or at least they wouldn't be able to implement this with something like a Facebook or a Twitter or something like that. They wouldn't be able to do that. Why? Because they would have to basically force people to be on the same social media platform. And it would have to be a one-size-fits-all, something that, you know, it gave you everything that you wanted all in one platform. And to be quite honest with you, the only way they're going to get something like that isn't from the private sector. It's going to be a publicly owned and operated and controlled type of a social media platform. It's the only way you're going to get it. But how far away do you really think we are from something like that? That's the question that I got for you today. How far away do you think we are from actually being able to use and having this type of rating system, this type of technology? You know, and I'm not even talking about the eyeball stuff to where you can see or whatever, just basically just something that scans and automatically knows that this is who you are, this is what your rating is, and they can look you up and they can interact with you right then and there. That's not that, you know, we have augmented reality on our phones with certain games. This is definitely within the purview of what is possible to do today. It absolutely is. So take a moment and think about that for me, if you would. And let me know down in the comments below if you are listening on Spreaker or if you are watching over there on YouTube or Rumble, some of them other platforms out there. But otherwise, if you are listening on one of the other myriad of platforms that are out there on podcast land, the best way to get a hold of me would be to email me, hoho@thehohoshow.com. You can either do that or head on over to thehohoshow.com and just leave a comment, leave a message for me down in the contact me section of the homepage. That is always a worthwhile endeavor. But of course, the best way, just email me, hoho@thehohoshow.com. And let me know how you think about this episode. Do you think something like this is possible? How far away do you think we are? I mean, let's just skip past the do you think it's possible. Obviously, it's possible. How far away do you think it is? How far away? I don't really have an answer for you. I mean, I can guess. I can take some guesses. I really could. But I don't know. You know, maybe 5 years, maybe 10. And in a matter of speaking, it might be closer than we think. It easily could be. So guys, that is all I got for you today. I enjoyed this episode. I really did. I hope you did as well. Y'all just have yourself a great one. Till next time. Thank you for listening to the Black Mirror Podcast. If you would like to join the conversation, you can comment on this episode at Spreaker.com or go to thehohoshow.com/forum in the discussion board for this season.